Welcome back everyone to another massive Dallas Cowboys update. The Cowboys are gearing up for their crucial matchup against the Carolina Panthers, and all eyes are on one big question that has fans holding their breath: is CeeDee Lamb going to play? The star wide receiver, the emotional engine and offensive sparkplug of this Cowboys team, has been the center of attention all week after he appeared on the injury report with concerns that immediately sent shockwaves through Cowboys Nation. The latest updates from the team's practice sessions and insider sources are bringing mixed news that could significantly impact how Dallas approaches this game and potentially the rest of their season. So let's dive deep into what's really going on with Lamb, what it means for Dak Prescott and the offense, and how the Cowboys are preparing to handle things if their top receiver isn't 100% ready to go. The week started with what looked like a routine injury report, but fans immediately noticed Lamb's name listed among the limited participants. At first, it didn't seem like a huge deal. Sometimes players are held out for rest or precaution. But when word spread that Lamb was dealing with a minor ankle and groin issue sustained late in practice, things started to heat up. The Cowboys coaching staff initially downplayed it, saying they were just being cautious, but as the days went on and Lamb was limited again, the tension began to rise. The truth is, when a player like CeeDee Lamb, the team's leading receiver, offensive centerpiece, and Dak Prescott's most trusted target, even shows up on the injury report, it changes everything about the offensive outlook. He's not just another receiver. He's the heart of the Cowboys' passing game, and without him, this offense looks completely different. Throughout the week, reporters at the Star have been closely watching Lamb's status during team drills. Sources have described him as moving well but cautious, suggesting that while he hasn't suffered a serious injury, the Cowboys don't want to take any risks that could turn a minor issue into something bigger. Head coach Mike McCarthy addressed the situation in his media availability, saying that the team is monitoring his workload closely and that the decision on his playing time will come closer to game day. McCarthy emphasized that they want to make sure he's feeling explosive and not just available, which tells you exactly how the Cowboys are thinking. They won't put Lamb on the field unless he can perform at his elite level. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott has been vocal about wanting his top weapon ready. Dak's recent performances have been some of his best football in years, and much of that success is tied directly to the chemistry he's built with Lamb. Over the past few games, their connection has been electric. Lamb has posted back-to-back monster outings, torching defenses with his precise routes, tough yards after the catch, and unmatched energy. If Lamb can't go, or if he's limited, it puts a lot of pressure on other receivers like Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, and tight end Jake Ferguson to step up. Cooks had his breakout game last week, finally showing why Dallas brought him in, but he'll need to replicate that performance consistently if Lamb is slowed down or sidelined. The Cowboys' offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer spoke about how the team has prepared for multiple scenarios. According to him, they've designed two versions of their game plan: one with Lamb as the primary target, and another that distributes touches more evenly among the rest of the playmakers. Schottenheimer said that Dak's improved control of the offense gives them flexibility to adjust on the fly, something that will be critical if Lamb's availability changes close to kickoff. What's clear is that the Cowboys know they can't afford to be predictable, especially against a Panthers defense that's desperate to prove itself despite a rough season. Carolina may be struggling overall, but their secondary has shown flashes of toughness, and if Dallas is without their star receiver, they'll sense blood in the water. On the flip side, there's still optimism around the Cowboys facility that Lamb will play. Several team insiders have noted that he's been testing the ankle and groin during side work and hasn't shown major discomfort. He was seen catching passes and running light routes during the open portion of practice, which is a strong sign that the injury isn't severe. But the Cowboys' medical team will be extremely cautious, especially considering how critical Lamb is not just for this game, but for the long-term playoff picture. With Dallas fighting to stay competitive in the NFC East and chasing the Philadelphia Eagles for the division crown, losing Lamb for even a short stretch could be costly. The Cowboys' locker room remains confident, however. Players like Dak, Micah Parsons, and Tony Pollard have all expressed belief that they'll be ready to handle whatever comes their way. Parsons, in typical fashion, told reporters that everybody's got to step up when it's time, and that mentality has defined this team's identity under McCarthy this season. They know they've been criticized for not being consistent, but they also know that when their back is against the wall, they have the talent to rise up. That confidence is what's keeping Cowboys fans hopeful even as uncertainty swirls around Lamb's status. Now, the mixed news part of this report really comes into play when you look at the rest of the injury list. The good news is that key players like Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are trending toward being available, which will help Dak have more time in the pocket. The bad news is that some other skilled position players are banged up, including running back Rico Dowdle and receiver Cavonte Turpin. The Cowboys might have to shuffle their personnel more than usual, which could affect rhythm and timing on offense. In a league where precision matters so much, even small changes can make a big difference. If Lamb ends up being limited, we could see a heavier dose of the running game. Tony Pollard has had a relatively quiet stretch lately, but the Panthers' defense ranks near the bottom of the league in stopping the run, which could open up opportunities for him to get back on track. Schottenheimer hinted earlier this week that Dallas wants to control the tempo and lean on balance, phrases that usually translate to establishing the ground game early. That might actually help them if Lamb isn't 100% instead of forcing throws. They can slow the game down, wear out Carolina's front seven, and create play-action chances for Dak to exploit. Still, make no mistake, the Cowboys' offense goes as CeeDee Lamb goes. He's not just a receiver, he's a tone setter. His swagger, emotion, and fire bring life to the entire unit. Every time he makes a big catch, you can feel the energy shift. That's why fans are watching every update like hawks. The team will release its final injury designations closer to game day, and all indications are that Lamb's status will likely be listed as questionable, which means it'll come down to how he feels during pre-game warm-ups. If he looks loose and confident, he'll play. If not, the Cowboys may hold him out to avoid aggravating the injury further. One interesting angle in all this is how the Cowboys have learned to handle adversity this season. Earlier in the year, when players like Trayvon Diggs went down, many expected the team to collapse defensively. Instead, they adapted and found new stars in Darren Bland and others. The same could happen offensively if Lamb sits. It could be the moment someone else steps into the spotlight. Maybe it's Cooks continuing his resurgence. Maybe Gallup finds his rhythm again. Or maybe a young player like Jalen Tolbert finally gets a real chance to make an impact. The Cowboys have options, but they'd obviously prefer to have their all-pro on the field. In terms of game strategy, if Lamb doesn't play, expect Dak to spread the ball around more and rely on short, quick passes to maintain rhythm. Tight ends Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker could see increased targets, especially in the red zone. Dallas could also use Turpin and Deuce Vaughn in creative ways to add some spark and unpredictability. McCarthy has emphasized all season that they want to be adaptable, and this might be the biggest test of that philosophy yet. The good news for fans is that the Cowboys have shown growth in adjusting to challenges, something that wasn't always their strength in previous years. As for Lamb himself, sources close to the team have said he's frustrated but focused. He wants to play. That's not surprising, he's one of the most competitive players on the roster. Even in practice, he's known for bringing intensity and demanding perfection from himself and his teammates. But the coaching staff will likely err on the side of caution. It's still early in the second half of the season, and the Cowboys have their eyes set on a deep playoff run. They'll need Lamb at full strength for the big games ahead against tougher opponents. What makes this situation even more intriguing is how it ties into Lamb's contract status. Remember, he's eligible for a major extension soon, and every game he dominates only strengthens his leverage. Sitting out, even for minor injuries, becomes a business decision as much as a football one. The Cowboys know they need to protect their investment. Fans might be frustrated if he doesn't suit up, but long-term health and value come first. So as we inch closer to game day, the anticipation continues to build. Will CeeDee Lamb suit up and keep his hot streak alive? Will Dak Prescott and the Cowboys' offense keep rolling even if their top weapon is limited? And can Dallas maintain its momentum in the NFC playoff race with key players nursing injuries? These are the questions dominating every sports talk show, every Cowboys fan forum, and every conversation in the locker room right now. Regardless of what happens, one thing is certain: the Cowboys are determined not to let injuries define their season. They've shown resilience, depth, and a renewed focus since that early season stumble. And if they can manage to pull off a strong performance against the Panthers, with or without Lamb, it'll send a message to the rest of the league that this team is serious about making a run. Dak Prescott looks like a man on a mission, and if CeeDee Lamb can recover quickly, this duo could be the most dangerous connection in football heading into the second half of the season. So Cowboys fans, buckle up. The final injury updates are coming soon, and we'll have the latest breakdowns as they happen. Whether CeeDee Lamb takes the field or not, expect Dallas to come out swinging, determined to prove they can dominate no matter the circumstances. This is the kind of test that defines teams, and the Cowboys are ready to show that they're built for the long haul. And that's the latest on the Dallas Cowboys injury situation heading into their matchup against the Panthers. Make sure you hit that like button if you're excited for game day, drop a comment with your prediction, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more breaking Cowboys updates, injury reports, and all the biggest NFL news coming your way.